Hello, Jimjamatic here. Welcome to a brand new episode of Robot Wars episode reviews. We're on episode 2 of Extreme, and this is actually a little bit of a better episode than the first one, because the first one's kind of a lackluster start, honestly, but the second one, it's got some fodder, and it's got really mediocre robots at the same time, but you know what? That is kind of part of the fodder. And joining for this, it is OtakuNate.
I am the god of hellfire, and I bring you...
I did not expect that.
Well, there's your Halloween present, James.
Yay!
It's November the 2nd.
Well, I don't know what day it is since you keep me locked in your basement.
And as you just heard, they're also substituting Franson, because he was going to be here, but things get in the way, of course.
He has a life, goddammit.
He has a life, and I'm sure, even though he absolutely loves Extreme, I'm kind of the opposite, but whatever. Same with Series 5, actually, oddly enough, but yeah. It is, of course, Alexthehunted.
Extreminess to the extreme!
I like your comments about being number for second. We could have made the facade that we recorded this on Halloween, but oh well. It's not like it made it spooky or anything. It's a spoopy episode of Robot Wars, but
Spoopy for me.
Too spoopy. But yeah, there's a lot of fodder in this episode. There's two.
The only scary thing in this episode is the wild card fight.
Oh god, yeah.
Oh god.
We'll get to that one, of course. But there's a lot of robots to talk about, surprisingly. Because normally I just say if it's a robot we've seen before, we don't tend to talk about it too much. But there's at least there's like 7 robots at least we haven't seen once. You know, in terms of order. So, actually no, one of the middleweights we have seen before, but we haven't seen the rest of them. But always going in order, of course. And as you know, I love Extreme. Well, I like the first half Extreme. The second half, it kind of wears its welcome. The second half, and then you just kind of want it to end, and then it ends on the worst special. But you know, that's Extreme for you. It's extremely okay. That was the name of my first episode, and I stand by it. Extreme is just okay. You know, one half's great, the other half's and I can never remember which episode's which because they'll mix them up, so whatever. But the first battle, of course, is the Tag Team Terror. Yay! I'm not the biggest fan of Tag Team Terrors, but you know what? This one was interesting because we do have King B, Powerworks, and 101, the reigning champions of the going against Deertor and Megamore, complete with ninja sheep.
This was clearly supposed to be the producers putting like, oh well, we just put in 2 fodder robots so we can have the champions go through the next round.
Nope.
And it blew up in their face.
No, actually, Deertor surprisingly put in some work here.
Yeah, Deertor got a good flip on 101 at the end of the battle.
I think that might have actually disabled its track, actually, because that was the only attack it got.
Megamorg was a Morg robot, so it just died.
Yeah, I mean, it looks identical to the regular Morg, minus the slightly better flipper, but I don't know.
I actually think that, looking back, I think this one's bigger. That's why it's called Megamorg, because it's bigger than Morg.
And they also had Mini Morg as well, didn't they? Which I think
that was their Series 5 bot.
Yeah, I think they should have gone with Megamorg, honestly, but both robots are pretty much the same, so it's not like they really challenge.
I still don't get how Mini Morg got seeded.
I don't either. They didn't really get through any of their matches properly, and they still managed to. That's like
they got 18.
18.
They got better than Smidsy.
Higher than Mousetrap, higher, isn't it? And they were semi-finalists in their first appearance.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The seeding was kind of bullshit, and obviously we'll be doing a certain series with a certain person on my channel who helps out my channel on his channel about seeding stuff in the future. So watch out for that when we get round to it. But this battle actually, it kind of went like every Tag Team Terror. They start trying to follow the rules eventually, then about a minute in they just give up.
Yeah. And quite unlike quite a few Tag Team Terror matches, usually with Tag Team Terror, there's one team that just dominates another.
It's relatively even up until the point when King B spazzed out and 101 lost a track.
Wait, stuff actually happened in this fight?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Deertor and King B were actually the two I think that did the most in this, really. I mean, 101 was okay, but
it's fights like, well, I mean, we got 101 was severely out of date by this point.
As proven by Series 5.
Yeah. Are you drinking?
Yeah, sorry. I
didn't know this. I didn't know this episode. I didn't know you didn't like this episode that bad.
No, I like this episode. I need my caffeine. I'm sorry. But
well, at least it's coffee.
No, it's Pepsi. Don't worry. I don't drink coffee. There's a fun fact about myself. But, yeah, this battle actually kind of made the quote-unquote vengeance of King B and 1-1. It's a little story, isn't it, you know? King Buxton beats them in Series 2, 101 beats them in Series 3, they don't fight each other in the main series in Series 4, but join forces in the Tag Team Terror and win, and now they're back...
then fight each other after they win.
And then actually, didn't they say they were in Extreme 2, they were planning on joining up together, but neither Anarchy or King B appeared in Extreme 2, so they didn't actually get a chance to do that, which is a shame, because I'd love to see them. I mean, you know, quite interesting seeing Anarchy and King B together.
That would have been a great fight.
Anarchy's... It could have been like you know, King B was the agile robot that had the robots go around, you know, like push the robots to Anarchy, and Anarchy would be the weapons, the heavy hitter.
Yeah, considering it's twice the weight of everyone else, that would have been... Plus, it was actually the only good walker that could actually hold its own.
But then you also remember Bulldog Breed, and Jesus Christ, that's one of the best performances I've ever seen in a tournament, was Bulldog Breed in that tag team.
And actually, Bulldog Breed later in Extreme Match doing well until a certain robot decided to fuck their day up, just like the same way Atomic went. And even in Series 6...
What a coincidence!
I know, and even in Series 6 they couldn't escape him. Because the producers hate them for some reason. But, the battle, it was actually one of the two times... I think I'm far away. Is this the only time 101's track broke without, like, being shredded? Just, like, one stopped working?
I think this is the only time where their tracks broke without being shredded.
Yeah, because obviously Fluffy did a number of them in Series 5, but... here, I can't think of any other time 101's unreliably just stopped working.
The curse backfired.
Yeah, this time actually hit them. And I guess all the bad luck that the Morgue brought from last series, you know, with Ming and Scar, transferred them onto 101, and it was more powerful than the curse of 101 and backfired on it.
Well, I think it's more the case... Actually, no, thinking about it, it's more the case of the curse. The curse just is got such a hatred for King B, it attacked its own teammate. And then, it was supposed to go for Dietor and Megamorg because Megamorg died in that fight, but its hatred for King B was so great, it just attacked its own teammate.
Yeah, and also I have to take a bow of silence and respect for the ninja sheep that died to King B.
Did any of you guys notice what happened during the intro to that fight?
Can't remember. You're going to tell us, though, aren't you?
Yeah, because if you look closely during the intro, the ninja sheep kind of fall off Dietor, and if you watch closely in the background, Refbot's just trying to shove the inflatable sheep out in the back.
Didn't notice that. Oh my god, that's great. I felt sorry for it because it got shredded by King B, like how just slowly deflated on the floor, and then... it was. I love the ninja sheep. I don't know why they got ninja sheep. I know because obviously it's whales and stuff. But even then, the ninja part makes it just 10 times better.
There's something I'm just realizing about Dietor in Extreme. In pretty much most of the fights it's in, it has something attached to it. This one it has the ninja sheep. Another fight has the Firestorm banner. Another fight has the Panic Attack picture.
Yeah, the only time I can't think of anything on it was in its battle against Witherbee Cheese in the All Stars, where it was just. Vanilla
Did they have anything on it for the for the World Championships?
I think they had the Irish flag on it. I can't remember.
Yeah,
okay,
they probably did. Yeah, obviously.
Don't forget the Welsh flag stickers on the bar.
Yeah, and also the picture of Anne Robinson, which is a slightly dated reference nowadays. But
I know, I get the reference because we had the weakest link here in America.
Oh right, yeah. Because for those that are uninformed, obviously
she's had so much plastic surgery. That's just how her face naturally looks.
No, but do you know the reason? But do you know the reason specifically why Anne Robinson was on the Welsh team on a Welsh team?
It was Room 101. Her appearance in Room 101. She wanted to put Wales in Room 101.
Yeah, she put the Welsh into Room 101, and obviously this is one of the apparently in terms of like BBC complaints, one of the biggest of all time. And Wales were kind of mad. I think she's from Wales, isn't she? I think she's originally from Wales.
I don't know. All I know is that a Welsh guy got his revenge by putting Anne Robinson into Room 101.
And also, I think all the Morgue robots had some form of Anne Robinson on their robots for the rest of eternity. I feel at some point because it's just to amass a middle thing. You get shredded up by King B and burns on the flame pit and all that kind of stuff. And obviously,
it's following the Henry principle of putting a granny on the front.
Yeah, except in the Henry's case, I don't think they wanted to. Unless they hated their gran, then that might be more justified. I don't know if I think it was because it was to scare the opponents with their gran. I guess she was that threatening. Not as threatening as Granny Revenger. That's the most threatening Granny ever put into Robot Wars. Obviously.
That thing scared me as a kid, but
it does look freaky.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
We are getting ahead of ourselves. But somehow Dietor and Mega Morg managed to win when. Again, I don't know what happened to King. I think King Bee something must happen to its aerial or something, because King Bee just spun around in circles for the last half of the match.
I read that it was like a fracture on the circuit board.
It's either like it's always something small, isn't it? It's always like a very small mistake. Like King Bee's.
It does it twice in Extreme, where they just lose control of it.
And it could be worse. They could just lose a wheel randomly to steal Avenger out of nowhere. But, King Bee's prone to... It was burnouts before, and now it's either just breaking down or going crazy and driving all over the place. Basically doing what a Kilohertz was do.
Speaking of King Bee, I can't wait to see his new King Bee.
I really can't wait. I have seen a picture of it, but I've not seen it's not fully made yet, but...
Yeah.
He's going back to the classics, from what I'm telling. What I've heard. You can tell he's going back to his more the kind of older looks to it. He doesn't get the polycarb, obviously, but
I don't know if you've just seen the recent picture. It's gone back. It's still blue and orange.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he's like get the same color scheme. I think he's kind of making it maybe chassis wise similar. I'm not sure exactly, but that's that'll be something for the futures. Hopefully, so we get to see King Bee again. Watch that space. They didn't get in Series 10, but if they come for Series 11, I really hope they get in. Please.
I hope they get in too.
Let them in, please, and also let Jellyfish in if they decide to come back again, or the new
Jellyfish. Do you mean two-headed Death Flamingo?
Yes.
Yeah, two-headed Death Flamingo.
Please let the Peckers in. I want to see it.
Come on, let Sam Elliott make his on-screen debut.
Actually, if Scorpionator gets in as well, we could have 3 of my guests on Robot Wars.
Or Mantis too.
Oh yes, of course. So that'll be.
Or actually, I'm actually in the process of renaming it. I've actually asked if it's okay, but I've process of renaming it to Super Mecha Mantis.
Watch this space, Super Mecha Mantis.
Because I don't think it just sounds. I'm not a fan of naming a robot too. So I want to So since it's the second Mantis robot, I thought of sequeling a name, if you know what I mean.
It sounds like something from some kind of Godzilla movie or something.
Exactly, that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Oh no, Super Mega Mantis! Yeah, I'd love that. I know why, but yeah. Tag Team Terror aside, King Beam 101 have now broken apart after briefly coming back together. And we'll see him in Vengeance in the future, I'm sure, obviously, as we know.
The great acting of their falling out.
Yes, and of course, Simon Harrison to this day still hates Mike Franklin with a passion, even though he's friends with him. But, on cameras, hates him.
We want separate benches.
Yeah, he hates them just
You can clearly tell that they were just trying to be... They were trying to bicker, but they were trying to be very friendly about it.
Yeah, it was very
well. They have
friendly.
to remember this is a BBC show, and it was before the Watershed.
That's true. That is true. Even then, I couldn't imagine them getting away with any kind of swears on any kind of... Even nowadays, I would never get with that. But it was fun watching them trying to have an argument when in reality you knew those two would just gonna laugh it off as soon as the camera's turned off. But so Dietor Megamorg won. Spoilers: Megamorg doesn't really last much longer in this tournament. But
also, can we just talk about for a moment about how great Dorian Cawdy was in these bits?
Of course. When was it? Did he die last year? Or was it a couple of years?
Yeah, he died last year in New Zealand.
What a shame. I mean, we've lost a few people from where it was. Obviously, most notably, we lost both Alan and David Gribble, and also we lost Steve Merrill. And I think also wasn't the lead guy from Agrabot, didn't he also die? I think
I don't know.
I think
I know. I also heard what's I forget. It's a shame I'm forgetting his name, but the captain of Ming Free.
Andrew Cottrell.
He's not. Is he?
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah.
All right. I hope that's not true, but if it is, that's a crying shame, because it's always like the classic ones. It's always like a lot of people who seem to go are not the people who like
the
really...
entertainers.
Yeah, with the exception of the entertainers or the ones who have really good skill, like David Gribble, and just the characters of the show, like Alan as well, and obviously Steve Merrill's a big example of that, and it's just a shame.
God, I would have loved to have seen Steve Merrill back in the reboot.
Just be thankful that all the original Dietor boys are still alive. Okay. Yeah. we still got them at least. Don't worry. And obviously Simon is still around. So otherwise, he's kept it quiet if he's dead. But
makes me want. He's kept it quiet that he's dead. Yeah, you kind of do that when you're dead.
That's the point of the joke. But yeah, Tag Team Terror, Dietor, Megamorg win. Well, Dietor and eventually someone else will win the entire thing in general. If I say it's a spoiler.
Spoilers,
But,
oh no.
Oh no, spoilers for this, what,
18-year-old show.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no. But yeah, Dietor Megamorg won. Then the Middleweight Massacre. I call it that because literally one robot did all the work and no one else did anything, so I think we'll get the obvious out of the way.
I just got to ask, rewatching this fight, are these the only middleweights that England had?
It must have been the ones that entered.
Guess.
I mean, otherwise they would have. I can't imagine either they must have only had not many people that entered. I mean, they didn't have any ant weights either. But
I mean, middleweights weren't a thing. I mean, not in America. Like, Robot Wars was basically heavyweights or nothing, basically.
and middleweights aren't really around nowadays because obviously because they improved in technology, they kind of. You either go for lightweight and below, or you go for heavyweight. You don't really go for anything in between nowadays. Cause
There's really nothing in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. Pun
There's no
intended.
super heavyweights either, anyway.
Yeah, some classes seem to have died out over the years because just technology and stuff and all that. But yeah, this was definitely a massacre, a one-sided fight, and not the only one of this entire heat. But
As I made this reference before, and I'll say it again. For all you wrestling fans, consider this fight. It's Braun Strowman against 4 jobbers.
I am sure that means something.
There's some of the robots I'm just. How did that one die? Like, hard cheese. I don't think Typhoon touched it.
Oh, hard cheese. Yeah, we'll talk about hard cheese first. 'Cause it's the only one we've actually seen before. You know, and hard cheese it won Series 2, the middleweights, and again it had a robot that broke down and Wedgehog. A Warthog, sorry, so it didn't really have much of a competition. Series 3, it died on its own and got charbroiled on the flame pit by Sakilot, and somehow a draw happened on that. And yeah, that was fun. And then, yeah, hard cheese, they actually come back with a little spinning disc, which I guess it's better than the other weapons they had, but...
Here's one thing I don't also get about this hard cheese. They have a pyramid shape, they have a normal wedge shaped robot with a saw blade.
Yeah.
It's not invertible.
No, I still don't get that. I mean, were none of the other robots invertible either? I think they were just one.
Viper 01 was invertible.
And Viper 1 sucked, so imagine...
Yeah.
Viper
01 is basically
it would have worked great in Series 2.
Yeah, I mean, Series 2 it had a chance because it was against 2 shit robots, but...
Well, if you remember Viper 01, he geared it. I think he put the wrong gear setup when he drove it out.
That's probably why it sucked then. Because
It
actually,
was supposed to do 15 miles an hour, and it could barely do 5.
I actually kind of liked the design of Viper 1, but it just didn't work. Because if it went 15 miles an hour, it actually might have been okay. But hard cheese, yeah, I think it was like the only robot that Typhoon didn't touch his entire battle. And
Did they just not change its design? Well, obviously that's not true.
Anything in it.
Actually, it feels like they took the same robot from Series 3 and just took the axe off it and replaced it with a spinner, and that's it. It doesn't feel like it's really evolved in any way, past being a literal block of cheese, and that's it. I think I'd rather trust the little cheese wedges that Mega Mouse put in their picture in Series 9 than this. I mean, that probably would have lasted longer, because cheese lasts a long time. But yeah, hard cheese. I don't know what happened to it. We didn't see it really do anything in the fight. It died. Okay, that was cool. I'm obviously saving the best till last, of course, but tough luck, hard cheese, didn't they? Literally, hard cheese. Didn't get in.
Hard luck, hard cheese.
Now, obviously one of the most influential first-person shooters of all time, Doom. Doom.
This thing.
The upturned wheelbarrow with a
lunchbox.
Lunchbox holder. You could see the lunchbox when it flipped over as well, and it took the most damage out of all the.
And do you want to know the most amazing thing? I think
Doom 2.
Is Doom 2 is a downgrade from this,
and it's so light. Like Doom it's even my middleweight stand. It's like in the lower bracket of middleweight. It's like 24 kilograms, something like that.
Can I just say this also about Doom? On its stat board, it says that its strength is that it has a self-righting mechanism.
Where?
Well, it never had a self-righting. It's just a wedge.
It doesn't have a weapon.
And somehow it came second in this fight, technically, because it was the last one to get knocked out. Because it didn't get attacked. Because it got attacked last. That's probably the reason it survived.
Have you got Rematch? I don't think so.
And also, another great robot from Manchester. Right up there with Chimera and Crippler / Predator. Of course, we make great robots. The Manchester people apparently they do. But an upturned wheelbarrow with a lunchbox housing electronics is not the way to go. Clearly. Then we have 1/3 of the annoying Ice Age trilogy, Mammoth.
It's not a trilogy. There's 5 movies.
Oh Jesus Christ! I keep forgetting. I just wanted it to be a trilogy, so it was over with. But yeah, Mammoth is hands down my favourite of the robots in this battle, mainly because I love the Mammoth team. How they just keep coming back with the same shit robot, but they just love having fun.
It was
though.
one guy this time.
Oh, it was one guy this time, yeah, but he brought actually, I think I had a few people later on, but.
With its weapons claiming to be an axe and the flipper.
And giving one of the best JP quotes of Attire Extreme. Would you bet your car, your house, your lunchbox on it? And also, one thing about Mammoth is in all 3 of its appearances, like in twice in Extreme, it appeared in the middle featherweight or lightweight as well. I think there's a featherweight version, and then obviously it appeared again and got completely bodied again. Probably even more so than the last less time.
Although it has one of my favourite moments in Extreme 2 where he gets flipped onto its feet and then they just erupt. And then Dead Metal's just chasing it down. It's one of the funniest moments of just seeing Mammoth try to run away from Dead Metal.
But the most notable thing Mammoth's ever, in terms of what made me laugh, was actually outside of Robo Wars and Techno games when they tried to do the triathlon. And they're notable. They actually, ironically, coincidentally, they obviously did well in the running because that's what they're built for. Swimming, it didn't really do anything, and in the cycling, possibly
fell over.
Hands down, I think the funniest moment in the entire of Techno games was watching that thing just fall over. Him falling over, pushing it. It just rolled away. I don't know what they were supposed to do.
Mammoth is just a hilarious robot to watch. Even or have Jonathan Pierce commentate over it, because going to the series, the lightweights in Series 7, where you had JP talking when he was pushing Robot down the pit. He's like, "Here we go, very slow."
It was on par with a Claw Topper pushing Twister into the pit, saying, "Oh, hey, this comet will appear by the time this thing gets in the pit."
He said, "Claw Topper's coming in for attack." Oh, and again.
And Mammoth, I loved. Oh, props to the mascot, the little googly-eyed high five. I love it. That should be in High Five's mascot in Series 9, just a little googly-eyed hand.
JP has said his favourite robots are the walkers.
They can be the most. Not the Series 3 walkers, but definitely the series. Anything else past that,
he has the most fun with them.
I think because they're so fun. The only one he had, the only one he can't really make fun of is Anarchy. Really, everything else, there's always something dumb or stupid about every other walker.
I would say 11 as well, because it was just so well made. 11, it was crap for Robot Wars, but it was.
But there wasn't anything goofy about 11. It was just kind of slow and well made. But yeah, everything else, I think, particularly Claw Topper and Mammoth, are the 2 biggest shining examples of just hilarious walkers. And yeah.
What was that thing that competed in the New Blood?
RT-81.
Oh,
that thing.
It's like if Whirlpool just, evolved...
And Tazbot.
Yeah, Whirlpool and Tazbot mated with a birthday cake and Flirty Skirty and created that thing. It
was so slow the house robots had to push it to the other competitors.
Even they were taking pity on it.
And then it just broke down.
And caught fire. It caught fire firing its own weapon.
Well made.
They fired the axe once. They even said it. They fired the axe once, and then the weapon burnt.
And this robot was trying to get a place in Series 7. Good luck. Oh Jesus.
No chance in hell.
I don't want to be on the New Bloods when we talk about it, because that's just 5 episodes of shit Robot Wars.
And the worst final to anything ever.
Yeah, agreed. Then we have a robot that I think we barely saw again, of course, was Genesis.
Dun 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 dun.
Yep. Now with more Phil Collins and less Tarzan music. Obviously, also a Star Trek movie and also a very successful game console.
With 16 bits of blast processing.
And what's it do? They make a kind of boring.
A slow box that has no weapons.
This was the most forgettable machine in this melee.
Probably in the history of Robot Wars. It's just a box with 2 wheels.
Its name's not interesting. It doesn't look interesting. It's got 50 million yards of ground clearance.
Even as a kid, I always forgot Genesis in this melee whenever it came on Tech TV.
Yeah, actually, really, it's the most one. It's one of the most standard, most forgettable robot. It's like the Talos of Robot Wars. who remembers Talos until I mention that right now?
I remember Talos because of just how boring it is.
Fair enough. I mean, even Genesis is that boring. It's that boring. You don't even remember Genesis, but you remember Talos. That's a sad day. Yeah. So Genesis was a thing, and also there were another. Were they Royal Navy? I think they were. They entered it. I think it was one of the military forces they entered. But after all the stuff they could have done, they entered a box that couldn't really do anything. So great. That shows you how good our armed forces are. Then of course we have
build boxes, and we don't really build them very well.
No, we build good cones though, but we also also in Britain we've also managed to build Zap.
Do you know this is the Beefcake team?
Yeah,
I saw that. This won't be the last time we'll see Tommy Winkworth in this series, and next time we see him, he's going to be a lot angrier over what happens to his machine.
Yeah.
Actually, no, he doesn't give a crap.
No, he didn't. No, he wasn't that bold.
He said, "Oh, we just put it together in a day because it's literally just an RC car with a shell."
Yeah, it's Zap. Actually, when I was younger, when I first watched this fight, I actually didn't know Zap had a flipper. So I didn't look at the stat board. So I just thought it was a wedge, and because we never really saw it work, it just kind of got hit by Typhoon twice and died, like Genesis did. We didn't really see anything it did, and it was really slow. It reminds me a little bit of Little Nipper in the Antweight special, but like the same kind of design, but except it didn't actually have a flipper on it. But it was just it was just as fast as Little Nipper, I think, and that was an Antweight. It just crawls. I mean, there's like the few shots you see of Zap. It just crawls across the arena and just does nothing. Pretty much most of the robots in this. I mean, even at least Doom pushed something. You know, Zap just died. But of course, the most important robot, and the only one worth giving a damn, apart from Mammoth, maybe this entire battle, is Typhoon.
Okay, I'm going to just say something here. This might be an unpopular opinion. Typhoon 2 is a great robot. Typhoon is probably one of the most overhyped robots in Robot Wars.
I can see that.
I kind of agree.
But it does obviously, of course. Really, the only thing, apart from the fact it managed to massacre a set of really easy robots to massacre, which isn't really a big impressive feat as it was. You know, although to my 7-year-old brain, it's like the best thing ever. But yeah, Typhoon also, of course, I think it was driven by Gary Cairns, who later made obviously Typhoon 2, but also made PP3D in Series 8 and 9.
She's up to speed now, boys!
That's literally written on my notes. There's nothing to say about it.
I mean, it doesn't really... The only problem I have, it doesn't... I mean, I'm saying it's overhyped, and this is a robot that's never lost the fight.
Look at what it was fighting!
Yeah.
Yeah, it was given the most easy opponent. It's like how people say Razor is really destructive, but in Series 3 it was given, like, you know... I
mean, the only challenge it really had was 259.
Yeah.
But 259 it flipped itself. I mean, in the final of Series 6 Extreme, it was Typhoon Twins, and so, you know, I see a bit of bias there.
Actually, Sandwich and 259.
Yeah, actually, one thing I didn't like about any of the Typhoon robots was because that... Right, I can understand maybe it's hard to make them look different, but Jesus, they just all the same, different sizes. That's literally all they were.
There's another rant you can have about the Typhoon twins and how they got around the connected
all the stupid paper on it. Just that thing they just stuck together on them. It's just... it's so dumb.
It was just a wire. It was a cable that held together.
To me, that shouldn't count as being connected, but whatever. I mean, at least, you know, Gemini gave a crap about being connected. Before, the rule didn't really matter as much. Whilst by the new series, obviously, Crack and Smash aren't connected whatsoever at any point. But they... Yeah, I know, it's just... All the robots just felt the same, and I always forget which one's which, because they're all just... Like, Typhoon Twins are just two middleweight Typhoons, virtually, or like or if it's low weight class, I don't care, because they'll look the same. Even Typhoon 2 is just a heavyweight version of it, which is why I'm so glad Gary came with PP3D later, because if he just entered Typhoon again, I would have been so annoyed. I think everyone would have been annoyed. So I'm
we all
so
want
glad.
to see good Shell Spinner back.
Oh yeah,
I do too.
I mean, we need a good shell spin. We haven't had. There's been a few robots in the newer series that have tried and either qualified and had to withdraw, or not made it, like Gyrobot, Doomber.
Megabyte.
Triforce. I felt sorry for Triforce, because that looked like a really good robot as well. But they had to withdraw, didn't they, in Series 10? I think it was.
They just. I mean, they failed to qualify for Series 9. They got into Series 10. Actually, no, they failed to qualify for Series 8. They failed to qualify for Series 9. They got into Series 10 and the robot didn't work.
Damn it. Don't you hate that?
They might. Hopefully, they don't go the way of Team Xenomania.
Oh yeah, I've heard things about what
Another little thing about Typhoon is this version of Typhoon is the one that was the goalkeeper in Techno games.
Yeah, I love that. But we would talk about the battle, but really it wasn't a battle. It was just basically like an ant, like 5 ants going against a spider. That's basically.
You know what this really was? No, you know what this actually was? It was the producers wanted to get out of the arena with a floor flipper.
Yeah, and they just barely made it with. Actually, didn't they get it later on with the featherweights or lightweights? I think.
Yeah, they got it out. It took until Series 7, but they got it out with the featherweights.
Yeah, I think the middleweights were just either just a little bit too heavy.
Dave Young's G2 was the first robot ever to be flipped out of the arena by the floor flipper.
Woo! Go Dave. let's see how that 10-way melee does for you then. If the flipper could flip Apollo out of the arena, that would be funny. But I don't think he could ever do that. But yeah, again, I would talk about the battle and stuff, but really Typhoon just beat everything and that was it. Although the funniest part for me, I don't know why, was just when Mammoth's leg just got ripped off and it tried to carry on move regardless, even though it was just dead. It was so kind of pathetic.
Its axe just going dig 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 dig.
Yeah, it looks so pathetic but so funny at the same time.
Forget Sergeant Meekel's axe. That axe is the equivalent of "I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you."
Yeah, it was some weediest axe.
No, actually, this axe is probably better than Sergeant Meekel's because at least it moves in a consistent motion.
It moves.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, it does move, unlike outside of Meekel, which stutters. So, yeah, that was good. But yeah, that was the Middleweight Massacre. A little bit of fun, even though it was overhyped Typhoon a little bit for the rest of the series from then on in. But you know what, it was still relatively fun to watch, even if it was a bit one-sided. Then we, of course, have the wild card. We'll talk about the newcomer before we talk about the fight, of course. It's AJ. The robot.
What was this thing supposed to be?
It was supposed to be a sit and spin.
No, it was originally supposed to have a flail that spun around like a full body, like a body spinner, but
then they put teeth on it.
Well, yeah, they put teeth in it. It didn't work, so they had to refit it as a sit and spin robot instead. So it would have been essentially, like, like a sort of something like Triforce.
It's a robot that was basically supposed to be like the arena spinner, and just like the arena spinner, it's completely ineffective.
Yeah, actually, to AJ's credit though, it actually has a lot of decent power to it and decently. It's not a fodder robot, honestly. I feel like if the weapon was actually how it was supposed to be, like a gyrobot or something, or
they didn't drive it like it was supposed to be, like the design because it was supposed to just sit and spin round. They didn't drive it like that.
No,
it's not nuts.
Surprisingly, it was actually more effective as a pusher than it was as a sit and spinner, because it actually did get a few decent hits on Stinger.
Oh yeah, they did, definitely.
And because the actual fight itself was mostly just a lot of pushing and stuff, but I mean, AJ, again, out of all the... I exclude Axor, because it's not technically a newcomer, really. It was also, I think, because they had Iron Ore. Out of all the newcomers that appeared, it was probably the one I think had the most promised in the future. Maybe if they actually got the kind of Warhog gyrobot spinner working, like Mr. Speed Squared, something like that. If they actually got it working, it would actually been quite good, but never came back. We never saw him back, Never even attempted to qualify for any of the series. They only appeared in Extreme randomly, as far as the wiki is concerned, anyway. But yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a shame not seeing him back.
But all they did was basically just make a few walkers for techno games.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, they made some pretty. That was on my notes. I was about to mention actually. They also made what was it? Critter. Which was really painful because it made it all the way to the end and broke down right before the finish line. And Cyborg, which is probably one of the coolest looking walkers ever in the series. That humanoid looking thing. It looks like a Japanese robots that walks about.
Yeah, it competed in free. It competed in free events, Cyborg, because it competed in the straight sprint. They also did that one-off thing where they tried to do a sprint around the circle.
Oh yeah, did it also do long jump as well, or was that?
No, it did the gymnastics.
Oh, I mean that makes sense actually. Yeah. Actually, it's kind of more built for gymnastics, honestly, than really a big sprinter, but
because its arms move up and down.
Yeah.
Ooh, the technique.
It was still pretty cool though. It was still a cool looking robot, but yeah, AJ.
This is an event where a robot that just flips upside down one.
I mean, compared to the newcomers, I mean, also you have Executioner, which very thin wedge to get the spike on and drives in the pit in like 12 seconds. I'm trying to think who else there was. Draven, who's just Draven and I don't like, so we'll never talk about it until we actually have to talk about it. And
Axel.
Axel, I don't count Axel because it wasn't a newcomer. It had Ionor.
So, do you mean like the newcomers that didn't make it onto the show?
Well, the ones we hadn't never seen before, because obviously that's the only one. Axel's the only one that actually made it onto the show, and also Executioner as well. But they were a newcomer though. But yeah, I mean AJ and Draven, the only two to make it onto the show, and Draven had to wait until Series 8 to get into the main series, and we never saw AJ at all in any.
You got the spider, which.
The spider.
We're gonna get so much hate from the Draven team for this one.
I don't care. It sucks. All right. I don't give a shit. At this point, I don't care. It's just I don't care about Draven. I play the more.
You build a robot. That's probably going to be the line you get.
Yeah, and in return, I'm like, well, I can't, but I can still criticize it because first, if you haven't updated your design, how the hell am I supposed to? I'm waiting for something new. Then if you show something new, then I might go, you know what? Where fair play, you've tried something different, not just going, our robot's perfect as it is. We'll just change the armor.
Other robots that didn't make it onto the show, like just could be newcomers. Shere Khan.
Oh, Shere Khan, that was in the Mayhem, wasn't it? And also Cataclysmic Variabot.
Actually, no, Panzer Wraith was the Wraith team.
Oh, yeah, it was
the Panzer team.
CV sucked. Just for the record, it was a box with an axe on it that barely worked, and it broke down really easily. I can't think of the new. I'm trying to think of anyone else that actually didn't appear. Technically, one of the versions of Fighting Talk didn't technically appear. The weird pyramid one, but no.
The one that was quite literally arse.
Yeah, the one that was literally arse. Yeah, and it showed its arse as well. Yeah, but there wasn't many good newcomers, honestly, in this series. That I mean, one of the best debuts is probably Fluffy, honestly, in terms of like not in this series, but in the main series at least. But I can't think of anything else that really was significant.
Crustacean had a good start.
Oh, Crustacean had a good start. Yeah, they had a good start. Technically 13 Black as well, even though not technically a newcomer per se. Obviously,
I was going to say Corkscrew, but then I remember in Series 5 it only worked once. It just got through by luck, basically.
Pretty much. It was promising in Series 6 and then pit.
So can we get back to the battle?
Oh yeah, the actual battle itself, that was a tangent. Of course, it's to be expected. I mean, the battle itself was mostly just a lot of AJ ramming into Stinger, not really doing much.
I honestly thought, looking back on this, that AJ should have had it.
I actually think they were winning it. I mean, I just think I don't know, because like both robots actually got caught by Sikill a lot. And for some reason...
even when Jonathan Pierce is saying this battle sucks.
Yeah, you got something bad there. I mean, it's like when Noel Sharkey said that Mr. B Squared and Fox, it was the worst battle he's ever seen. He's seen some shit battles this time that lasted 5 minutes. So, Dagnus was only 3 minutes. But yeah, the battle itself wasn't that interesting. A lot of it was just a lot of pushing, but I do agree with you, Nate. I think I personally would have given it to AJ. Probably the only newcomer battle where I think they actually they probably could have won it. I mean, the only competent one that actually was able to... Not the best driving, but you know what, it's the first time, so you know.
This is one of the many extreme fights where the house robot drivers just get bored and decide to intervene.
Yeah,
and they dump Stinger out of the arena.
Yeah, that's not the first time this series that Stinger's going out of the arena. Foreshadowing. But yeah, the actual fight wasn't really that interesting. That's probably why I went on a tangent, really. But yeah, I do think AJ should have won that one. Honestly, I think there's a little bit biased to the. Partially because Stinger was unfairly pitted, and partially because Stinger's a seed. I don't know. That might be the reason why. But everyone else, all the other newcomers kind of lost pretty badly. But this one, yeah, I think personally AJ was probably the closest one to winning. But I think it should have won. Then we have the Vengeance, so Panic Attack versus Exterminator.
A legit Vengeance.
A legit Vengeance, actually. Yeah, actually, some of the Vengeances aren't that bad. Like even with the piped up pantomime, the Firestorm Deator one's kind of legitimate. But here, this didn't really last very long, did it? Really, it wasn't much of a fight.
What was the point of that spike?
To stop them from self-writing, clearly.
Because that's what it did.
I think the plan was so that it could just go. It could get into like the gaps in the front of Panic Attack's forks.
What was it going to do?
But they just made it something easy for Panic Attack to grab on, and they couldn't self-write with it.
What was the spike intending to do with the forks, though? I mean, it wasn't going to get anything. It was just.
I mean, if he remembered from his only other fight with Panic Attack, the scoop is way better against dealing with Panic Attack.
And also,
and it doesn't get in the way of your Shremek.
And also, one thing to note: spikes aren't usually the best weapon to take Panic Attack out. I mean, just look at something like Ramstein in the War of Independence. The spike did nothing. that was a long, fuck off spike as well, and it still did nothing. So. Really,
what I will say also is it's just the poor editing by the BBC, because in this fight they have the Series 5 Exterminator drive out for the intro, and then it's the extreme one that fights Panic Attack.
It's such a
Editing.
There's so much sloppy editing. There's one later on with the Mayhem where they show a robot still in the the gate, even though it's already set out previously according to the editing. But Exterminator, I'm actually quite surprised. I don't know if it's because of editing or just whatever, but it seems like Exterminator should have been counted out. I swear, RefBot was so close to getting these little button out, because Exterminator was on its back for almost a good 30 seconds, but they got flipped back over. They sort of drove away a little bit and then got put in the pit. It was.
I mean, it's a shame because this is a legit rematch I wanted to see, but this Exterminator just didn't really work.
The Series 5 Exterminator is still the worst one.
Series 5?
Series 5 Extreme one, I mean. Yeah,
I would say the Series... Well, actually, no, the Series 4 one could drive... I don't know, actually. The
Series 4 one at least was actually okay with a flipper, not the axe, but this one only had the axe, really, and it still didn't really do very well. And they had the proper axe this time. Both.
I mean, when they actually used the Series 5 one, the proper Series 5 one, it did well.
Okay, it's probably... Okay, the Extreme one's the worst one, then. I'll say that, then.
The giant toaster.
Yeah, the toaster.
The Dalek toaster. That's what it is.
To me, it just looks like a massive printer, honestly, or some kind of like block of ink cartridge or whatever. It doesn't look like an actual robot.
It's no office party.
Yeah, it's no office party. But yeah, it was a very disappointing battle because I wanted to see this as actually a proper vengeance. Actually, because their battle in Series 3 was one of the best heat finals of the series. Arguably, some people they might say it's the best, and also to me the top 5 battles of the series. And it was such a shame that it ended up being such a really easy fight because this version of Exterminator sucked, and Panic Attack just and they had this.
I mean, even didn't Marlon Pritchard say that this is Exterminator's worst ever fight?
It clearly is. I mean,
without question.
I mean, even against Chaos 2 in the last T, it lasted longer because they actually got a hit on Chaos 2 and actually maybe could have won if they hadn't pushed the flipper back down. But here, it was pathetic. I mean, imagine if you just saw this fight by itself, you didn't know any of the history, and just didn't know its vendor, just Panic Attack against Exterminator. Would you have thought Exterminator was like was a semi-finalist and heat finalist and all-star
and a grand finalist?
Yeah, and grand finalist later on. You would never believe that, would you? Just watching its performance, but it's just weird to think. It's like when you see 3 Seconds to Heaven, think this thing was a grand finalist and a semi-finalist. Look at it now. But whatever.
Ooh.
This was I probably think it was the worst fight of the episode. Maybe it was tied with the wild card because it just nothing really happened. It was just Panic Attack dominating and then pitting.
Yeah.
But it was very kind of Panic Attack style pitting, wasn't it? Just kind of going diagonally for some reason, always pitting them in.
Yep.
But yeah, that was a fight. But of course, it was leading up to as Craig kept saying, "Is this the end of Chaos 2?" How the hell is it the end of Chaos 2?
You mean is this the end of Hypno-Disc?
That's what I meant to say, yes. Hypno-Disc, yes. Against Maybe
because the end of Chaos 2 is coming.
The only way I would say it was the end of Hypno-Disc is because this was the after Series 5 Hypno-Disc.
Yeah, I mean, this must have been filmed early on or something, because Hypno-Disc was actually doing probably the only fight I've imagined Hypno-Disc ever doing really well in it.
Okay, I'm just going to say this, because Hypno-Disc is my favourite robot of all time. And you can see the butt coming.
Okay.
And I love this machine. I think it's one of the most influential robots ever made, along with Chaos 2 and I would say I'm trying to think of a BattleBot one and probably Nightmare as well.
Yep.
But this was when Hypno-Disc was starting to get up to really powerful speeds. And this was just territory that the spinners were just getting into. Of the Hypno-Disc needed to take the hits that it could dish out, and you could tell in Extreme and getting to the end of Series 5 that it just couldn't do it. Like the electrical wear and tear and the forces that this machine had to take was basically killing it in every fight.
Yeah, and the sad thing is that this is probably the only fight in Extreme where it actually has dominance in anything. Because it must have been filmed really early on, I'm guessing, because it was actually...
No, it wasn't, because you can see the drop zone marking out in the arena floor. That's how you know it was after Series 5.
Oh, right. So maybe it was just, just happened to be working this time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I can't think of any other battle that Hypno-Disc was in. Until the one moment in the Nasty Warrior fight.
Let's see. You've got the All-Stars with Behemoth where it broke. You got the Annihilator where it kept breaking.
Died against Nasty Warrior.
You got the unaired wild card fight where it died in 30 seconds.
Who did it go against in the wild card?
It was Craig Danby. It was Craig Danby's machine. TX something, isn't it?
Yeah, TX 108.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
A fight that was so awful they didn't show it on TV because Hypno-Disc looked so bad. It looked cooked in that one.
Wow. It didn't have a good extreme. I mean, it really didn't. I mean, also by the end of Series 5 as well, it was really not being able to take the hits.
And it somehow manages to be even worse in Extreme 2 in the 2 episodes that it's in.
It was no carbide, let's say that.
Honestly, after Series 5, this is where Hypno-Disc starts it's the downfall of Hypno-Disc, basically, after Series 5.
Which is why I still think that Series 4 was probably the last series it could have won. Honestly.
I think it could have won Series 5. I think it definitely could have won. I mean, but that's the problem. I mean, if you think about what Hypno-Disc took in Series 5, like that slam into the pit from Firestorm, like if you see that fight, like just how much when Hypno-Disc, like it's spinning up top speed and it just hit the solid pit and it just slams across the pit, like that really must have fucked Hypno-Disc up.
Oh, it did. It looked like a powerful hit when it went in the pit there, but yeah, Hypno-Disc has had a massive durability problem, but. It was the problem that spinners were starting to run into at this time, was that your robot needs to be able to take the hits that it dishes out. Yeah. Don't be a glass cannon. That's the rule. Basically, take advice from Carbide nowadays, honestly. They're one of the best. Just don't
fight anything made out of chopping boards.
Yeah, or plastic and MDF and wooden boats with spinners on the back. But or German robots, oddly enough, they'll also work. But yeah, the actual battle again, it was mostly just massacre. Willoughby Cheese was the one that probably could have done the best, and even then
it decided to flip Ming instead.
Yeah, Willoughby Cheese's biggest problem.
That's the thing about Willoughby Cheese. It either works or it doesn't.
Also, it's the biggest weakness, I think. It's just its maneuverability isn't that good. I mean, watch it against Tornado in in Series 4. It couldn't maneuver against a robot that was more maneuverable. And Hypno-Disc, while it wasn't saying, not saying Hypno-Disc is more maneuverable, but it chose the wrong target, and then as soon as it realized Ming was out, it went, shit, they're after me now, and then they took the wheels out.
I mean, that's the thing about Willy Big Cheese. I would say it's the first UK like thrower flipper, like the one that could really throw something. Like Chaos 2 was a good flipper, but Willy Big Cheese was a thrower kind of flipper, if you know what I mean. And I mean, most flippers nowadays can do what Wheelie Big Cheese did. But Wheelie Big Cheese you could say was the first, and usually the first of anything is not very good.
It's true. It was definitely an all or nothing robot most of the time. It didn't get that big flip in the beginning, or any big flip. It was pretty much out, and it didn't really. It just kind of attacked Ming 3 for some reason, and Ming 3 losing its wheels is probably one of the saddest
It got
sights.
Castrated, man.
It really did. I mean, you got a little slice in one of the wheels. The one wheel came off. Then the other one came off. It just looked like a sad sight. Ming 3.
Again, another one of my favourite Jonathan Pierce quotes is "Okay, then Ming 3, what you gonna do? Come on."
We kind of missed this out, but regarding the hype surrounding this fight. We also get the most groan-worthy moment from Extreme, when they give Roger Plant's promo.
Oh yeah, acting.
We forgot to mention this, but in the hype video, he says, "When we're through with Hypno-Disc, Hypno-Disc is gonna be Flipno-Disc."
Oh Jesus!
This is more cringeworthy than the Streamex song.
Yeah, apparently to him, I wouldn't say so because. My God.
I think it was because as a kid, like the Shreemex song, going back, I can still get a good chuckle out of it.
Or the Megamorg hymn chorus.
Or Thermidor saying that girls don't belong in the arena.
The squabbling between King B and 101 in the Mayhem build-up.
Or Dr. Zero stealing some cables from Firestorm.
God, I'm just thinking of all the other CCT moments, like Pussycat bribing Noel Sharkey with strawberries and an autograph.
I don't get this. I mean, it's a lot of WWE stuff, but
there's another Noel Sharkey moment. Sorry.
Maybe they're Yeah, there were worse moments, but like just Roger Plant's little promo on Hypno-Disc, that was just ugh.
What was it? What was the Null Sharky moment? Sorry, Alex.
I think it was the tag team Terror final with where they had like the two teams lined up, and there was Noel Sharkey going like, "Okay, guys, I want a nice clean fight," and he walks off, and then he's got the Pussycat team bribing him with cakes.
Yeah, it's just it's so dumb.
Noel Sharkey, you're an amazing guy, but don't act.
Yeah, I feel like that about most of the Robot Wars guys. Honestly, they just can't. They're not particularly. I forget. I mentioned it last episode, but one of the guys from I think it's Tim Mann from
Yeah,
from
you
Singer.
mentioned him.
Yeah, it was a smooth bit of acting on his part. But again, they're not actors, but it's just the fact they made them kind of do these stupid things, and it's clear who's. I mean, the ones who sort of pull it off are the more charismatic ones. You know, like the
Ming Free guy, the Ming Free.
Ming 3, the Plunderberg guys. They at least, even if I'm not saying they pulled off the Streamer song. I'm saying they could at least do some of the jokey moments, and it kind of comes off as normal. But when you see like Mike Franklin and Simon Harrison having to joke about, or you see Tim Mann having to be really tough and, "Whoa, we're gonna get them," it's like it just looks weird, and it just looks odd that they're making them do it all of a sudden. But someone like Plunderbird or like Sir Chromelot might have made more sense, but.
Dietor can pull off.
Oh yeah, the intentionally jokey teams. Like randomly, if Robo Chicken was in this series, you know, in the extreme, they would probably be able to pull it off as well. But
always makes me it always makes me think like all the robots that appear in Extreme, like some of the ones that don't, like Terahertz never appears, Robo Chicken never appears. Who else am I thinking of?
Spawn again? Oh,
yeah, they do. They're in the tag team.
Oh yeah, they are. I forgot their existence.
I don't. That's one thing. That's one thing about the All Stars I don't get is you know, like Gemini's an All Star, Exterminator's an All Star. Spawn again? Apparently not.
No, but let's put Dietor in instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? But yeah, that battle was a massacre. We have some terrible acting. Sounds like Extreme to me.
Okay, we've got to talk about Ming 3 because this first time it appears on the show. What do you think of this version of Ming 3?
I'm not a fan of it.
I
would have preferred that. I mean, I get what they were going for, and I'm not saying that it's a Razor clone. It's just they should have kept what worked from Series 4 and just made it a full-blown front-hinged flipper or rammer wedge or what have you.
Yeah, I prefer Ming 2, honestly, but yeah, I don't hate Ming 3. It's kind of just there to me. But then again, if you make Ming die nasty by definition, Ming 3 is the best thing ever. So I don't know.
Well, actually, did he make two robots? He made
Ming and Zorro. Yeah, but Zorro's just a Waiachi clone, but. My God, I just can't.
Zorro was his company robots, you know?
That's what it was. It was like a promotion for his business or something.
I can't.
Yeah, because I've actually got used one of his robots before. It was they're both electric lifters, and actually they're decently effective. I don't know why he didn't use that. He didn't use those.
Yeah, I just can't get over it.
Basically, actually, if you want to know what it is, it's basically Ming Dynasty, but that arm is the flipper, not a drill.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, what do you think of Ming 3 then?
I like the look of it. The performance of it on the other one, I do like I do think it looks good, but I mean, it's a drill powered crusher.
We can all agree.
I think the only damage it ever did was to Megamorg's shell.
We can all agree, though, that it got unfairly treated in its Terahertz battle.
Yes, I will agree with you there.
Oh, yeah, that was so I mean, it was actually on top at that very moment when it got hit as well, so it was kind of even more annoying.
Well, I don't know what they were thinking. Like, oh, no, we want Terahertz to win. Like,
oh, no, they're attacking Terahertz and winning. What should we do? Oh, kill them. All right.
Probably because Terahertz was in Arenas of Destruction, that's what I think.
Yeah, that's really odd, considering they hadn't appeared in the series yet, which is really because they're using this.
Yeah, I was always confused by that when I played the game first. Like, who the like? I thought it was one of the fan made ones, like Thor.
Actually, I was the opposite. I kind of thought, okay, I was trying to remember where Thor was like prior to that series. I told myself it looks nothing like the Thor in Series 6 and 7. I can't think of what it could be. And I was like, I didn't realize that was a fan made robot until like years later. But then Terahertz was like, I think because I knew Terahertz, I kind of went, oh yeah, because Kilohertz Terahertz makes sense. But Thor,
yeah, because
really confused me.
The Advanced Destruction. No, what was it?
Arenas of Destruction. Yeah.
Arena of Destruction. Thor was a contest in the magazine to design a robot for the game.
It was pretty cool looking
robot. That was the winner.
It wasn't quite cool, but yeah, it's really confusing because then you happen to have a contestant later on called Thor with absolutely no relation whatsoever. But
we should find out who won that contest because if it's a man called Jason, then we immediately.
I'm checking. I actually am checking that out now. See if it says the name. I am very curious. I can't see anything initially, unless it says. It might probably say anything. I'm just not seeing it. But yeah, it was definitely a competition robot. But anyway, that was Extreme Episode 2. The guy was called Jamie Leslie from Chelmsford. That was the guy who made Thor.
Find out where Jason's from. Jamie sounds a bit too coincidental. It begins with a J. Illuminati confirmed.
But is Jason from Chelmsford though? That's the question.
It could be an alias like Alan Smitty.
Maybe, could be. Maybe he was embarrassed of this version. He was gonna.
I wonder if there is a robot. Like, there is a robot alias. Like you've made a robot, but you don't want your name associated to it.
Napalm.
Like, there's a robot.
Well, did the Plunderbird team do that with in Techno Games?
Yeah,
There were the Smiths.
Oh, the Smiths, yeah, they were doing that because of a joke, I think, with like FB, like they kind of, you kind of Men in Black style thing with the sunglasses as well. But yeah,
You know, they brought the same hats.
yeah, even though they just didn't really disguise it in the slightest. But yeah, that was episode 2. It was definitely better than episode 1, honestly. Because I mean, at least I remember stuff in this here. Like you have the tag team terror is okay. Middleweight's just a massacre, but at least it's sort of entertaining. Wildcard's okay, I guess. Vengeance was kind of boring, and the Mayhem's actually at least destructive. So I guess we got something out of it. It wasn't loads, but you know what? I'd rather take something over nothing.
Can I just say one last observation about the Mayhem?
Go on.
I love how Ming is just suspended above the pit in the end. They didn't put it in the pit; they just left it hanging there.
It's like some kind of torture, isn't it? It's like you're just gonna stay there, rip off your limbs, and just leave you just lying there for all eternity. That's your punishment. But overall, I gave the last one I think like 5 or 6. I think this one I'd probably give like a solid 7, because at least it's good. It's like above average, but it's not. I mean, for extreme purposes, it's pretty good. Like
any episode where you get to see Hypno-Disc have some fun.
Yeah,
that's a good episode.
You get to see Typhoon destroy runs over pointless robots. You get to see Hypno-Disc destroy stuff. You get to see an okay newcomer, I guess. I mean, King being one of ones and Deator was fun to watch, and the only really one I didn't really enjoy probably was maybe the Wildcard and the Vengeance, but you know, not that bad in comparison. Panic Attack was like owning it, I guess, but.
Next episode's definitely better, I think.
Yeah.
Speaking of Panic Attack, I love how they have for the main event they have Panic Attack representing the UK, and then the first fight of the episode they have Panic Attack lose.
Yeah, I know, I love it. It's one of the few times I think Panic Attack represented the UK and not represented Wales specifically. Because normally, obviously, it appeared in the first international tournament in terms of like individual countries. But yeah, there's 2 All-Stars. There's Firestorm and Panic Attack, one where you mentioned it loses. Behemoth and Hypno-Disc, where Hypno-Disc just gets bodied by Behemoth. The Mayhem, which actually had a really cool Arnold and Wild Thing fight, if we could fucking see it, because they kept focusing on Fluff the entire fight for some reason, even though it was out. We get our second fodder challenge belt with Stinger.
Actually, no, I would say this fight Stinger did pretty well against Behemoth. It's just I think this fight's mainly remembered for the amazing clamp move that Behemoth did.
It's the one time the actor's ever used it really well. And
Behemoth gave Stinger the fireman's carry.
Yeah, and they later coincidentally they both go out in the arena in the same battle later.
You say Behemoth's axe isn't effective. I mean, come on, it did amazingly well against Mr. Psycho and the House Robot Rebellion until it fell off.
Yeah, until it fell off, yeah. And then, of course, you have the International Inferno with a shit German robot, an okay if the weapon was working American robot, a shit Dutch robot, and Panic Attack.
Panic Attack.
So, who's going to win, I wonder? I don't know.
I honestly
the only
think
actual
Manta
champion
had
in
a chance. Manta is a better robot than you guys give it credit for.
No, it is. It's a damn good push bot. It's just it's weapon shit.
Yeah, it was much better as critical. Was it critical? I can't remember what it was.
Critical mass.
Critical mass in Roboteer. It was actually better than that, I think, than it was in
It was also
Manta.
critical mass in BattleBots, but I don't think it made the TV rounds.
No, I think Manta was definitely inferior to critical mass, but I preferred that robot, honestly. But the Manta's fine. I just don't think any of its weapon was working. It might have some more force behind it, but we can all agree that Maximil and Flensburger Power are absolute shite, though.
Oh God, don't get me started on Flensburg Power.
I won't.
It's the gathering of the 4 champions from around the world, and only one of them is a champion.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is before like Black Hole and Slicer and stuff like that. So, yay! Actually, I remember, even when I was younger, I thought to myself, how the hell did Flensburger Power be a champion? It really
Maximil, you could, by the look of it, you could kind of go, oh, yeah, until you saw it fight. But, like, at first appearance, you could go, yeah, I could see that winning.
Although, I remember, because obviously this is kind of coincidental, because this week Mr. Psycho, or Mike, he uploaded the one with the shit German melee. And actually, that's the only battle I've ever seen where Flensburger power sort of works all the way through. Because in this one, in most of the battles, it just dies, while here it actually did sort of move at the end of the battle, even if it was barely anything, which is a record for the Flensburger power team.
And they wonder why the German series of Robot Wars only lasted 5 episodes.
Yeah, it was. I mean, at least the Dutch one lasted two series, you know, and actually had a really good champion in the first series before they decided not to appear back for some reason. But you know, yeah, and I still can't believe that's Technolese. That's whatever. That's off topic. That's for another day. Obviously, I might do the Dutch Robot Wars eventually if I run out of stuff to do, which might happen. You never know. But yeah,
you're going to be reviewing Robot Wars forever. Forever.
I've still got BattleBots, I've still got Roboteer. I could do a retrospective of Techno games. I won't do episode by episode, but I could do like a retrospective of it. I could do Dutch. I could maybe tackle the German series in one.
What about that American TV show that was was like Rock and Sock and Robots that only lasted one series?
Nope.
Robot Combat League.
No, I'm never touching that thing.
Bring Brandon on for that one. He'll rant all day about it.
That's why I'm.
Christ, I've watched one episode of it, and I've never seen so much scripted shite in all my life.
I've seen clips of it, and I don't want to ever watch it. But
like, all these robot builders apparently seem to be all really, really attractive supermodels.
That was coincidental, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like all the.
You know, George Lucas had a hand in that show.
It's like all the pit reporters and BattleBots being really attractive for some reason, yet know nothing about technology, or even having any kind of enthusiasm whatsoever. It's almost like they brought them on for their looks or something. I don't know. That's stupid. But yeah. So that was episode 2. Obviously, episode 3. We have the really, really terrifying cliffhanger of will Panic Attack win? Well, yes and no, but whatever. That is like a philosophical question. In episode 3, did Panic Attack win? Anyway, I'm Jimjamatic signing off.
I'm Alexthehunted. Weren't thinking of an intro, an outro even.
Damn it.
And I'm OtakuNate, and I'm sure that I disappointed the Discord chat by not making an Overwatch reference.
Dun dun dun.